Saying it again. All right. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Don't Take It Personally podcast. You're here with Corey and my co-host.
I'm Tara.
She don't like saying her name, guys. I don't know what's wrong with her. She's weird like that. She's very weird. But yeah, man, it's after Christmas now, and we finally get a chance to get back in the studio and record. Tara, how was your Christmas?
It was good. What about you?
See that you made me sick when you do that. You made me sick when you do that. Made me sick when you do that. And then I have people on the thing asking why she don't do a lot of talking. I be trying to make her talk. She won't talk. She won't talk.
Who said that?
The only way I can get you to talk is if I make you mad. If I say something you don't like, you gonna talk. But just having a cordial conversation, showing some love, it was good.
How about you?
Mine was fabulous.
Awesome.
It was fantastic, right? I got to spend time with my kids. I got to spend time with my grandbaby. I loved it. I saw my parents. My mom gave me this gift where she into arts and crafts and all that type of crap. She gave me this gift. She did a mirror and did like a timeline of my life of special events.
Oh, that's
like,
sweet.
Hey, I graduated high school this date. I started working this date. I met my wife this date. We had kids this date. I had a kid this date. I went to college. I had another kid. So she did like a timeline, like 15 different things that I didn't even know she really paid attention to, and I thought it was cool. And everybody that saw it, our kids, they thought it was interesting, which goes to show you that your family, your history of your family, it does mean something. You probably think it don't, right? It's just past stuff, but it does mean something, man. So, and I think we need to get back to that, back to photo albums, whether it's electronically or digital, whatever, right? Photo albums, keeping stories, just to pass it on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because my great-grandma, I don't remember anything about my great-grandma. I wasn't told a lot of stories. I just remember my interactions. And then, of course, from my grandma on down, I got a lot of stuff. So.
Right.
So, tell me about your Christmas.
My kids are grown, so everybody had to work. Niecy had to work the day of Christmas, so we did Christmas Eve, Christmas.
Ooh, she get time and a half, huh?
I don't know. I'm sure.
Yeah.
At my mom's, and our stuff is low key though. We don't do a whole lot of. We exchange gifts, but it's really just us eating. We had seafood. Cargo had that crab legs on sale for $9.99.
Ooh, rob your alley.
Yes, so we had like 10 pounds of crab legs that we boiled, and that was it.
Yeah. All right, before we get right into the podcast, something just popped in my head. I got a good question I want to ask, and we can either talk about it or we can pass on it. Why do you think that in our community, the black community, we don't do more things together as a family or as a group to stabilize our financial wealth like other ethnicities do? For example, right, in our community, it's frowned upon if you got mom and dad in the house and they got 3 kids, right? And where those 3 kids can stay at home and help build the family brand or legacy and then start branching out. Everybody's in a rush to just get out. I got to get out on my own. I got to get my own apartment. I need my own thing. When if we did everything together, it would be more sustainable and it would last longer, and it could be because other ethnicities do it all the time.
I agree, and I think that's some of how our history, when it goes back to and everything goes back to slavery for me, because
slavery.
It defines on why we think the way we think, why certain things are important, certain things are not, is because we've been conditioned to think the way we think, whether it be beauty standards or, like you said, the financial and stuff like that. For me, I made sure my kids were kids long enough, even if they was 27 years old, and they still under me, depending on me to do stuff, because I want them, when they got in the world, I want them to have a good cushioning. Cameron is 21, he's 23. Jeez. And he still stay here, and I'm like, just stack your money, because he wants to. He was in a position to buy his own 18-wheeler truck at 22. It fell through, but he had enough money to where he could put a good down payment down, and it essentially be his. in less time than it was if he had to finance it with no money down. So and you have to change different traditions, so to speak, or different what you call them things? Curse. You about to break that curse or break, that those whatever it is that fits you. Like I felt like white people, they can be 32 years old living with their mama and it's not looked down upon. It's Absolutely. Not. And then when he get 33, he buy a $600,000 mansion because he done saved up. But black people, I feel like we turn 18. Oh, you got to get out of here. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to pay bills. You ain't gonna be sitting up at my house. You ain't paying no bills. Well, you know what I mean? Like it's just the way we was brought up. I think.
Yeah.
You have to break those traditional curses. That's what I want to say.
I agree. And you are right. I've talked to several white people, especially men, and they say to play all the time. They tell their kids, "Hey, when you graduate college, you stay here, get in your career 5-10 years, save money. That way, when you move out, you don't worry about nothing. You ain't living check to check. Mm-hmm. You got what you need. And yeah, you may have to help with some stuff here, but it's gonna be so minimum that it won't affect you, right?
Right.
Your car paid for when you move out, your furniture paid for, everything paid for, so you don't have to deal with the hustle and bustle and grind of an everyday person trying to live check to check. But I also think that it should be some kind of structure in that to get them to understand or transition to real life, right? It shouldn't be just you don't have to worry about nothing. It should be something. Whether it's, hey, you're going to take care of the cable bill, or, hey, you got to buy some foods or buy the things that you want. It's something to get them to understand transition to life, because I've seen so many people, they don't realize, like you take my kids, right? My oldest son. Tell them, even though you tell them, hey, bills come around every 20, 21 days. You got to pay them every 30, 21 days. But he didn't realize how fast and how much they come around until he got on his own. He was like, damn, I just paid this. Because if they come out in 21 days, you got another 10 days to pay them. Just say if you wait that 10 days to pay them. In another 2 weeks, it's going to be time to pay them again. Right? So,
right. So, yeah. I mean, like Cameron, he has his car note. He has his insurance.
Yep.
He has his cell phone bill. And I don't really do much to groceries. He drive truck, so he ain't home but 4 to 6 days out the month. Out of 30 days, he here 4 to 6 days. So, but when I say, like, you have to pay the light bill, you have to pay the cable bill, because I provide that. You got your own car note. Now, if you want a new car, you definitely got to pay for it. Or you want 10 on your truck, or you want new tires, you want a lift kit, then definitely you got to pay that. But as far as like living to day, the basics, I don't agree with making your kids pay that. Now I have seen like I don't know, an article or something where it said like parents make the kids pay rent. Let's say it was $300 or $400 a month, and by the time the kid got ready to move out, it was their cushion. So it ended up being, $10,000, $15,000, whatever. They just gave it back. So they may pay rent, quote unquote, but it didn't go towards the rent. They just took it from them.
Yeah, I did it with my oldest son, but he didn't know. I didn't tell him. I was just
they didn't know either.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you got to do $200 a month or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then it happened a lot faster than we thought. But when it was time, I was like, yeah, that $200 you was giving me, here the $200 plus interest. And he was shocked about it. But yeah, I made him do that too.
Yeah.
And but you talking about basics. You think cable and cell phone is basic?
I didn't say cell phone. He paid his own cell phone.
But cable is the first thing you mentioned.
Internet. Well, I say cable, but internet.
You think internet is basic?
In my book, yeah.
Really?
That's a standard for me.
Right, but you still got the other stuff to go with the internet, like the cable, the channels, and the platforms and all this stuff, right?
You pay for all that. Now that's extra. But I think internet or cable. I say cable, but because I just have internet and I just stream everything else. But
you borrow it by the log ins.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I think that's my standard. So I think that's standard.
Okay. You mentioned too. We were talking. You mentioned about the beauty standard, right? That's one of the things we wanted to touch on. So I can't wait to hear your perspective or your insight on the beauty standard. You
already know my beauty standard.
No. Well, you got to talk to me. You're talking to the people. You're not talking to me. So, what's your perspective on the beauty standard? Would you like for me to start this off?
Yeah, start.
You want me to start it off?
Mm-hmm.
The beauty standard. I think that the beauty standard itself is, I think it's a bunch of hogwash to a certain extent, right? I think that we're so quick to try to blame stuff on certain things and the standards, but I do believe. Let me say this. Let's talk about our community, the black community. I think that the black community, and I'm speaking from a man's perspective about women. I think that the beauty standard they put on women, you hear women all the time saying that the reason that they're doing what they're doing is because they do it for themselves, which is a lie. And then the second thing is they always talk about how men like certain things. But men constantly tell women, we do not like this. When we talk, because you're looking at two different attentions. You're looking at relationship attention. You're looking at sexual attention, right? Mm-hmm. So if we telling you, hey, we don't like it when y'all do that, but they do it anyway. And of course we want to have sex and we have sex with them. And they think, oh, they're having sex with us because of this. And we're telling women, no, that's not. We don't like that. But they still do it. So what do you think about that? You want me to give you an example?
No, I understand what you're saying, but you're saying you don't like it, but then you still screw the lady with a small waist and a big butt.
But you'll have a choice. That's all. That's all I'm doing. If all the women,
you do have a choice. Nobody's making you screw somebody with a small waist and big butt. You can go to the fat girl and screw her.
Right, but no, we tell you we don't like fat women. Now we tell you we don't like fat women. But okay, it's subjective. Some might be some people out there that like. But if given the choice, if a man is given the choice, he's gonna choose he like. But if we're telling women, it's heavy in our community, especially this thing with the weave. It's real, real heavy. And I know you see it, right? Women love wearing weave, and we say, "Hey, we don't like that. We don't like it." And I know that you have something to say about the hair thing,
right? Because the weave is not always for y'all. Some women just like it was a protective style. Some women like to wear weave because they feel pretty in weave. Mm-hmm. But I feel like when it becomes to you can't wear braids or you can't wear weave or whatever to be my girlfriend, are you screwing the weave? Are you screwing, you know what I mean? Like, why you can't just be like, okay, well, I mean, you may not preference it, but if a woman chooses to go get braids because it's hot in Mississippi, or she chooses not to get a perm anymore because that's her choice, it's her hair, why is it that you have to project what you like on that woman?
But you want what you want. You want what you like, though, right? It's your standard. It's your standard. This is my expectation. This is what I want out of a woman. What's wrong with saying, hey, I don't want a woman that wear 6-inch eyebrows or lashes, looking like a spider on her damn face? I
mean, but then don't talk to a woman who has that. But I feel like you making it a requirement that she can't go get it. Why does that matter? If you're talking to a woman for the personality and you don't want no one, you don't want no one with a big butt or small waist that's been medically enhanced. Like why do you have all these requirements on if she wear lashes, if she wear weave, if she wear whatever else? So I don't understand what's the problem.
Well, I think most men, especially the circles that I run in and I talk to, like a natural look. Now, I don't know how you feel about BBLs and stuff like this, but I see BBLs and it's disproportionate as hell, and it looks funny. I'm talking about even though white women too, but black women too. We talking about black women. It just look weird. Like it may look great when she bent over, but as she stand up, walking, it look disproportionate as hell. It's like somebody got a fat costume on under there. Yeah. They got them little skinny legs, small waist, and then your butt just sticking out like this.
I do believe the BBLs have gone to the extreme, but I also feel like some women feel like, when they look in the mirror, they don't see beauty. And sometimes, if you feel like, oh man, I would be this in my eyes if I had a flat stomach, if I didn't have these rolls, or if I had a bigger butt, if I had a wider hips or whatever. Some of that is to attract a man, but some of it sometimes is to make her feel better about herself.
Okay, so this is what I see. And I'm speaking just to me. I see the entertainers, the rappers, the ball players, the athletes, and beside them they got this IG model, BBL, fake tits, fake hair, fake lashes. And when I see that, I see a whole bunch of other women that want that same lifestyle. So they feel, if I want to get a guy like that and live that lifestyle, I need to look like she look. But every guy I mentioned, the rapper, the entertainer, the baller, athlete, whatever, we talking about 0.0001% of men could give you that type of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So it's just say out of millions of men, it may be 100. Just say that, just from the numbers. So if I want a guy like that, I need to do that. So in essence, all these women trying to attract a guy like that to give him a lifestyle, when all of them ain't gonna get close to those guys. Well, but that's what's left for the regular guys, right? Say regular guys, that's what's left because they trying to get to a certain point where they can get these men. They can't get them, but they still left over for the regular guys. So that's exactly what we're seeing. So you say what to that?
I mean, and then I can say that, like.
I mean, do you see the same thing? Do you think it's true? You think it's slanted? What do you think?
I think women trying to they look at IG or whatever social media platform and they see these women or whoever else living this lifestyle that they feel like they need or they want or whatever. So of course it makes the pool of them, the guys choosing from them type women, because everybody got a BBL, but they just looking at, okay, well maybe I'm out of 600 million, he gonna pick me and I won, so to speak. So, but I feel like that goes to the beauty of standard, because men like to say, and I see this on my Facebook all the time, if your hair natural, oh man, everybody can't wear natural. Natural ain't for everybody. But it came out my head natural, so it is for me. Whatever my hair grade is or whatever it is, if it doesn't fit like the wavy, looser curl, which is what they dub good hair, which I don't understand.
You gotta show me a picture of that because I have no idea what you're talking about.
A loose curl, like
just show it to me later.
Like a mixed person hair.
You got to show it to me later.
You know what a mixed person?
Yeah, but I don't know
how they have their loose curls.
I can't. It's not translating. You have to show it to me later.
Anyway, so they dub that as good hair. It's not.
Is it good hair?
All hair is good hair in my book. That's how I see it.
Okay.
Because your hair is whatever that's growing out your scalp is good hair.
Okay.
So, the wavy type hair, like the exotic people or the people that's Mexican or have some ethnicity to them, it's not that
you think
bone
Mexican
straight.
Exotic?
No, but you wouldn't listen to what I was saying. I said have some type of melanin to their skin. They call it exotic. I don't think Mexican is exotic, but when I say Mexican hair, like their hair is not always straight, their hair not always curly. It's kind of like a mixture.
I've seen some beautiful Latino women.
Yeah, it's beautiful women in each.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen some gorgeous, drop-dead gorgeous black women. But even if all right, we can even take it a step farther. We talk about the beauty standard, like, and I downloaded a couple of things too, and I meant to send it to you, and I'm gonna send it to you. You see these challenges on TikTok where have these women when they do makeup, where it's like they look fucking like crackheads, and then after they put their makeup on, they look like models. Mm-hmm. Man, that is like witchcraft. That's scary as hell, man. That's scary as hell. Is that a woman could look like a total different person, and they ain't even including adding the filters. They got all these filters now that just drive this that you can see. Like, it's crazy. And I've even seen stories with women on live, right? And they're showing, hey, this is me with a filter. This looks nothing like me. And then they turn the filter off, and then you see their real face. Like, man, that is crazy, the stuff women can do. Like, who, to me, that's like witchcraft. Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that.
That's a wig.
That's a wig?
Yes.
I like it. I like it. But
like loose hair.
Okay, yeah. But I've seen black women with big hair like that.
Yeah, my hair was like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but you got good hair.
I have hair.
I
have good hair.
But your hair is not thick, coarse.
It is.
It's thick, of course, but it's not like matted, nappy. Your hair was.
I had looser curls. I had curls.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. People say, "Oh, you got good hair." I don't, because I done broke up how many brushes. I can't get nobody to comb my hair. It's thick. It won't do this. It won't do that. Like.
So you say your hair is difficult?
Yeah, my hair is definitely difficult. My hair do what it want to
do. Straight from the horse's mouth.
But for other people, is you have good hair, and that's their standard of beauty, because nappy is not beautiful, but it is if it come out your head. So I feel like in our community, and I have a lot of men. I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook of how they say, you with your little nappy hair streak, but black hair streak. Like, you can have this much, you can have like an inch of hair when it's dry, but when it's wet or you straighten it out, it's 9 inches. because our hair is just tightly curled. But they view that as nappy and ugly, and you look like whatever. I think we need to get out of that, because when white women or any other women have their hair is short, they won't grow long. They don't make a big deal about their hair type, texture, color in their community.
Well, I'm agree with the hair. Well, I ain't gonna sit for that, but I'm agree with the hair statement a little bit. But I'm gonna definitely stay away from the eyelashes and the BBLs. Right? I think that's universal across the board. I think there is a certain small segment of guys that think that's fun to play with and good to look at and that kind of stuff. But when you're talking about a wife taking them to the governor's ball, gala type stuff, I don't think they want to deal with it.
I mean, I feel like you look at the extreme of the BBLs and they are all botched or whatever else because like you got some BBLs, you don't even know that woman had a BBL.
Absolutely, and I agree. And those are okay for that person because BBLs don't have to be extreme. But I'm telling you, the majority of the BBLs I see, ain't nobody paying for no Vanessa Williams BBL where it looks natural. They paying for BBL because they want their ass to look big.
If I get a BBL, which I probably wouldn't get one, but I have been toying around with the idea of getting one. I wouldn't get one where it's like a massive butt and all that. Like I would get like more hips and maybe like a plumper butt, but it would be the natural. Because you have to do it for your body type. A lot of these BBLs are not for their body type.
That was my point. And then if you do it that way, but you at least get your money worth out of it. You at least want it to be noticeable that it's more there and don't look exactly the same.
No, well, it won't look exactly the same because I won't have no stomach. But no, I wouldn't want it to be noticeable. I would want somebody to be like, not, oh yeah, she would got her body done. No, I would want it to where you wouldn't notice it. So no, I wouldn't want it noticeable.
Well, somebody that don't know you would notice it, but somebody that know you be like, the booty looking good. Oh yeah, I've been working out. Girl, stop lying.
I've been working out.
Stop lying.
Last 8 weeks, I've been laying on my stomach trying to get this BBL.
And what they call it, what's the thing they
Lipo?
put on? No, the thing they put on to keep everything together.
The compression?
Yeah, but it's got a name to it.
I don't know.
A fupa, not a fupa. Faja.
Okay.
Faja.
Yeah, that's how I didn't know. Well, I knew it was a compression thing, but I didn't know what
they call it faja. Yeah, because once all the ladies start getting BBLs, then you see all these people selling the fajas online.
Right.
They trying to make the money.
It's so much maintenance to a BBL. You have to keep
I know. I have people that close to me.
Right. I mean, yeah, but you have to keep it up. You got to. Sometimes you got to get round 2, round 3. You got to.
What the hell was this?
Because you need to be saying who, what, when, and why.
I'm not gonna say that. You don't want to name names.
No, I didn't name no names.
You named your son name earlier.
Well, yeah,
I edited it out. And she named your son name. Oh yeah, my son. Da, da, da. I'm like, okay, you want to put your son name out there, but you don't want to put your name out there.
No, yeah. Anyway, because it doesn't matter if somebody got a BBL or not. Like it doesn't matter.
No, this is what we're talking about. All right, let me get to this point. Let's talk about this. How do you think? And I know how your mind thinks anyway. I think social media has absolutely ruined relationships and dating. Well, I'm going to say dating. I think social media has ruined dating.
Right. We talked about this before in a previous episode.
We did. Mm-hmm. We did. Mm-hmm. I think it came up again, man. I just think social media just absolutely ruined dating. We couldn't talk about it in extent.
We did. I do agree that social media has these unrealistic expectations of what your man should do, what your woman should do, how your man should act, how your woman should act, or whatever. I don't, when it comes to up, those little small clips about somebody said this or somebody said this, I don't even entertain it because I feel like that's crazy. And I don't keep it going. My group of friends, we don't talk about it. You know what I mean? So it's dead when I see half of it or whatever, because I think it's crazy. I think people should do whatever they feel like works best for them. I can't tell you how your relationship should be. I'm not in a relationship with you. You know what I mean? So I can't, on the outside looking in, and say, oh, your woman should cook for you, clean for you, do this, do that. She should have your slippers waiting on you when you hit the door. No, because it's everybody else in your business. Now, if you and your woman have agreed that, she cooked 3 nights, you cook 3 nights, or you may be the better cook. You know what I mean? You may be the better cook. So why wouldn't you play into that.
Who cooking through night? Who cooking? What you talking about?
I know I ain't. So
who cooking?
But you the one who got a wife. But I'm just saying, like, I'm saying, like, I feel like in relationship you should do whatever best fits you and not what fits society say you should be.
I agree. I think that the conversation come in is, this is what a conversation come in at, and this is what makes the conversation so appealing and a lot of people talk about it. If you have two groups, you got men and women, and you got social media, you got all this stuff happening, right? Men attracted to women, women attracted to men, right? If it's getting so out of whack to where regular women don't want to talk to regular guys, so you have a large population of guys that can't even talk to anybody because social media has hyped everybody's brain up that this is where they should be. I think that's what a conversation is, because regular guys can't talk to regular women anymore. They've done so many studies where they clearly show how, like, regular women, and I ain't talking about your group, I'm just speaking in general, right? Regular women don't even see regular guys out in the world anymore. Like, if they're not certain status, make a certain kind of money, whatever, they don't even see them. Like, you probably pass 100 guys a day, and you probably only pay attention to like 2 of them. Ugh. You get a cough drop.
I have one, thank you.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. And I think that's where the conversation comes in, that it's like, how do we fix that? Where it's like, because we are in a deficit of population. We behind. Like, we don't have enough. If we stay on the track we are and keep going, we're not going to have enough people to continue to populate unless we pull migrants or whatever case, which we got a lot of that going on. So how do we get back to the regular people? It's okay for regular people to talk to regular people. It's okay.
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, because, like, I'm a regular person. I look for regular people. Like, and I think it's your mind frame. It depends on, I don't know. It's different. I didn't raise my kids with the social media validation. So
that's a good point.
Once my son had a friend girl that he was talking to, and she was like, "You never post me." He was like, "Well, I don't post anybody." Like, he's not into social media like this, so it wasn't a big deal. But she wanted that validation on social media. Well, then that's when you have to say, okay, you know what? I need to go to somebody with my like-mindedness. I have to find somebody else who think like I think, and not be a problem, because that's a form of insecurity to me.
Yeah, but I think insecurity is insecurity to that, but you don't think that's a stretch when the majority of the people in a certain age demographic was raised on social media? And I ain't talking about the 5 or 10. I'm talking about in the 90th percentile, majority of them was raised with some kind of screen in front of them. So that's their connection to the world. You don't think that's unrealistic when you say, well, find somebody that's not a part of that, when majority of that age group is a part of it?
I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but yeah, I don't think it's unrealistic to say find somebody who's equally yoked as you. I don't think that's unrealistic. You can be in social media, but you don't need that validation. I be on Facebook, but Facebook is entertainment for me. Instagram is entertainment for me. Like, I don't look at, and then that's probably also what comes up on your news feed. A lot of those Instagram models and that don't come on some craziness come up on mine. Yeah. Because I entertain it.
But you're in a different place, though. You're in a place where you understand yourself. You're your own woman. You get it. You got your own perspective. All this. Just say we talking from.
But I had to be taught that.
I understand that, but you had to be taught. Just say we talking 16 to 25, 16 to 25-year-olds that their whole life is based around gamification, social media, some type of platform. They whole life, schools, colleges, restaurants. I mean, you try to order stuff, you can do it online now. Shopping, anything that you think of, phone, TV, right. Everything, right? I think it's unrealistic to say, hey, you got to go outside. I think you just got to make the best of what it is, because if that's what it is, that's what it is. You just got to figure it out.
I disagree, because I have kids that are like 28, 29, 23, and they grew up in that social media era, and I took the focus off of, like, the internet bullies and all that. Like, that's not real life.
Yeah, but you did, but the majority of people didn't.
But that's what people have to do. You have to raise your kids.
I got it, but
not let social media raise them.
But it's not being done, though.
But you said you asked, what can we do about that? And that's my thing. We can do about that is we have to counteract that. Mm-hmm. We have to counter that. Letting social media raise your kids.
Yeah, I get you got kind of letting social media raise a kid, but if social media is a vital part of these children's lives and probably will be to the day they die, there's no changing it now because I don't think we can go back. I don't think. I think if they unplug it now, it's gonna be a
combust.
I'm talking about
spontaneously.
I'm talking about crazy homes, killing each other, everything, right? Because even from that standpoint, if you take away the platforms like it's proven, right? They've done studies on that males need sex, right? And you have a certain group of males out there that can't get intimacy from an actual physical woman for whatever reason. Maybe they don't have charisma, maybe they don't know how to talk to him, maybe they don't have game, maybe they just nerdy, whatever, right? And they live. That's why the porn industry is so huge because that's where they get their sexual gratification from.
Right.
Porn. OnlyFans, where they can literally interact with the woman, where it feel like we have a personal connection, and I'm still doing what I need to do to get my jerk off, or whatever. And if you pull the plug on that stuff, man, it's gonna be a whole group of angry people men walking around that don't care about nothing. Because I'm telling you, man, I think the problem is bigger than what is shown. When you can't get, because the whole point of it used to be, back in the day, it used to be, if you was in Ohio and you was a beautiful woman, you only had the guys that was in Ohio to compete with, unless you moved off or something. But that's how it was. Now, somebody in New York can see a beautiful woman in Ohio and say, "What? I fly you out." And you know what she's saying? Ain't none of these dudes in Ohio good enough for me because this rapper just flew me out. So I can never talk to any of these dudes. Y'all broke bums. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a bigger problem than what it is when we get to the point where we have all these women that only want this small group of men, and you got all these men that just cannot get women. And it's already showing.
Right, and I agree, but I feel like how to fix it, you can't fix the whole thing in its entirety. You have to fix the people that's in it. So if if I raise my kid this way and and she raised her kid that way, and so in that world aspect of it, then and just hopefully more people will say, okay, well, social media is good, but the bad part of it, let me teach my kids that social media is not always reality. So
I've been telling my kids,
people you have to change their paradigm about it, and then I think over time it'll start, it'll mellow out if that's what parents do. But if not, because some of the parents are like, they with it too.
Absolutely, and that's the other part. You got grandmas online. And then the crazy thing about it is, what people don't understand is they all compete for the same damn men.
Right.
And that's why they compete for the same. They ain't trying to get no banker sit behind a desk that's 50 years old. The grandma that's online talking about how fine they are and they BBL and all this, they compete with the same guys that the granddaughters. 35. The granddaughters compete with, the moms compete with. Like, I've seen so many stuff on TikTok. Not TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. But I'm on YouTube. You know how they had TikTok shorts, and you see there, and it's like three women dancing, and like, that's grandma, that's mom, and I'm daughter. And I'm like, what the hell, grandma, sit your ass down.
I know I would do that. I definitely would do that.
But they're doing it to attract attention.
Oh,
especially from the male gaze, especially depending on the storyline. Like, my grandma fine and she twerking and all that. You would do that as a grandma on TV? On TikTok twerking and
I mean, I'm not a grandma, so I can't say what I would do.
But you will be twerking. Man, such your old ass.
Not old.
I think at some point, like me, right? Like me, I'm a guy. I'm 40. I just turned 44 yesterday. If I were to get on social media,
happy birthday, Corey.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Happy birthday, Christmas baby.
Nah, I'm gonna tell put my business straight. Okay?
You said yesterday.
Yeah, like
so,
that's right. If I was on TikTok, now I probably would do something silly with the kids or grandkids young. But if I was on TikTok or Instagram or something, at this podcast, right, when we start doing the visual podcast, the recording, it's going to be chill setting, sitting back. I'm going to be dressed like an adult. I'm not going to be acting like I'm a 25, 30-year-old guy because I'm a 44-year-old man. My perspective is different. And just like an old man need to sit his ass down, let the young boys have it, I think an old woman should do the same. Sit down, because all of them competing for the same damn men.
No, if it's not a compete type thing, like, if I'm a grandma and I'm, young enough to where which people feel like twerking is a bad thing. I don't. I mean,
I think twerking is bad when you sexualize it, when you make it about, and I understand the dance itself is sexual, but when you literally put it out there for a sexualization type thing, right, I think that's bad. They be on there with like They get the BBL where the booty is doing all this, and then you can see the printer, the coochie, and then they looking back at you. I think all that sexualization. I think it is
true. But I'm saying if I'm a grandma and my version of twerking is really just moving my knees to make it look like I'm doing something, because I'm still trying to get my, I like to dance.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if that's my version of twerking, I'd be like, go ahead, Grandma, you get it, know. And I'm gonna hope somebody hype me up. Go ahead, Grandma, you getting it.
Yeah.
And ain't doing nothing.
And you probably around your kids and your friends and your
right,
family.
and it's fun.
Yeah, we talking about the Instagram thoughts, grandma thoughts. They're talking about who says 60-year-old women don't look good, turn around twerking. Like, man, sit your old ass down. And I think that's a huge problem, man. Internet, like, there are beautiful older women,
right?
But trying to compete with these young women, man, for the most part, there are some older women that look better than younger women. But for the most part, if you line up young women, line up old women, for the most part, the young women gonna look better than the old women. There was a time where women understood that my time is over. I'm done. It's time for somebody else to have. Now it's like, what can I do to stay in the game? Lip fillers, head fillers, Botox.
That's been in the white community for a long
Absolutely.
time.
I know a young lady I work with was 28 years old, and she was like, "You got to forgive my face. I haven't got my Botox this month yet." I'm like, "Botox for what?" She was like, "Yeah, I get it here, there." At 28, she had 3 kids. Whatever.
Black, white.
She's white. She's white.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what? And I'm thinking all this because she's 28. I'm thinking this natural. She's like, nah, this Botox, boom, 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 and pouring out lip filler. Like, God, dog. Trick witchcraft, man. It's absolute witchcraft. But
y'all like a woman would look good, y'all. With a little roll or fupa, you just look down upon. That she may not have no butt, but she got a little stomach,
You're very insecure. You're very insecure.
I got a good. I'm all right with it.
You're very insecure.
So whoever be with me got to be all right with it too, because it ain't going nowhere. It just, I'm not gonna do what it takes to
lose a gut.
Not like to where I'm not gonna be a fitness person where it's like I'm just in the gym, a gym rat, and I mean it looks good, but it's not realistic for me.
I understand.
So I had to deal with this look good, but and whoever dating will have to deal with it too.
Guys, y'all hear that? If y'all want to date her, you gotta deal with her stomach.
Move that out the way. It'll be fine.
Oh man, you are a trip, man. But yeah, so yeah, that's just what I think about the whole dating scene. I think it's screwed up, man. I even I have my oldest son, 25, to tell me. He has a kid with his fiance, and God bless him how they go out. Hopefully, everything gonna go great. I pray it will. But my 19-year-old, I tell him, man, as it relates to like being in a relationship, let it ride. Just wait on the next batch. I think this batch is ruined. I think it's ruined.
It's 19?
19.
So what batch he waiting on? The ones that's 15?
No. Well, it might be. They might be 15 now. Don't make my son sound like a pedophile.
No, I'm saying what batch you talking about he need to be waiting on.
I think from
not
8,
the ones that's 1.
No. I think no. The next 5-10 years for the next batch of 22, 21, 22 year old. I think by the time he get 19 be 20, by the time he get 30, he need to get a batch of 21 year olds fresh off the lot. Maybe it'd have been unchanged by then. But this 18 to 25 year old now, I think they're gone. I think they're gone.
I think it's gonna be worse.
Think it's gonna be worse?
I think it's gonna be worse. That's why I'm saying you have to find what you looking for. The whole thing about dating is to see what you like, and you have to date multiple people, even if you have to date different races or whatever. But you get someone you feel like, oh, I like this person. She check off all the boxes, but she got a crazy way of thinking. You have to be able to say, okay, you know what? It's just not gonna work.
Well, I would disagree with you a little bit. I think because of feminism, because of all these women, they're starting to see that all this shit was a lie. Feminism is a huge finesse for the most part. Not the original feminism, but feminism now. A huge finesse, especially the black women. it did more harm than it did good, right? I think when women actually start to see that, they're gonna be like, you know what? I don't want that. I want to do something different, which was the same old thing that used to happen before the feminism. That's what I think.
When you say feminism, especially with black women, what does that mean?
I don't think feminism was a. I think it was a white woman's game, and they convinced black women to be a part of it. That's what I think. And if I'm not mistaken, the information, the data says the same. I hadn't done any research, so I can't quote any data from that. But I will say, me personally myself, right? I think it's a finesse. I think it's a huge finesse when you can convince a woman that being at home, taking care of your family and your husband is wrong. You should go out, forget a family, forget a husband, build your career up, and then decide on what you want to do 10, 15 years outside of your prime, when it's going to be more difficult to get all the stuff or do all the things you wanted to do in your younger years. I think that's the finesse. And whenever I look at anything and I think it's an issue, you got to ask yourself why. And I always try to take it back. 9 times out of 10, it's about the money, right? You don't agree?
I want to know you finish.
Okay, well.
Because it should be an option. Like,
absolutely.
From what I know about feminism, it would be like, no, you cannot work. You have to go get a husband, and you have to have kids to be considered valuable.
See, that's not true. Now, this is what I do know.
I'm talking about before.
Women have always worked. It was just a certain group.
Women, no.
Yes. You better go look now. I know this for a fact. I looked at this. Mm-hmm. It was just a certain group of women, but just like men, there was a time there was certain men that couldn't vote either. All men have not always been able to vote. There was a certain status of men that couldn't vote, whether they're white or black. You had to be a certain status to vote. It's just people like to look at the overall thing, like, men can vote, women can't vote. Now, there was a time that certain women or certain men couldn't vote. There was a time, right? And there was a time that certain women, there always been influential, rich women mixed it up in history. It just, you had to be a certain part of a certain class, which I think is the bigger finesse, or the bigger point is class. I think it's more about class than it is race. I think this day and age, I think it's more about class than it is race. I think if you in higher class society, you part of the game. Now, there are hierarchies in every part, but I think class is going to be more prevalent than race in the long run. That's just my opinion. But back to what I was saying about the feminism, I just think it was a finesse to convince women. And I was talking about the money part. Even if you look at it from the money part, right? If you got a man that's out working, making money for the family, and they convinced all these women to leave the family and go out and work, right? And this is documented. You get 50% more people in the workforce. Now you got 50% more people fighting for jobs. That means you could do what? Lower wages. Now it's lower money. So now where it was one man making $100,000, now you got two people making $50,000 a piece, and there's nobody at home taking care of the family, raising the family. Okay, so
but then the husband can take home, go home and take care of the family.
Let me finish. Well, that's not the way it ended up because the jobs that matter or keep society going, the women don't want to work those jobs. They just don't. They don't want to be bricklayers. They don't want to be tar and build houses and stuff. There are women. There are some women, but the majority of them don't. These jobs are overwhelmingly 90 percentile of men, and then they have quotas trying to get women. The women just don't want to do it, and I don't blame them. I don't want to be out there in the sun if I have to be on oil rigs and shit like that. But then, even when you look at the twice as many people going to the job market, now you got twice as many people paying taxes. That's why I say you got to just keep filtering down. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. Can't tell me if you were truly in a relationship, not at this point, not in frame, and probably not you. Let me ask you this question: If it was a woman out there that truly just wanted a family, and there was a man that could go out and work, let's get rid of all the negative stuff. Let's not talk about the cheating and abuse. Let's squash that. The relationship is minimal. It's exactly what you want it to be. The man you want, he making the money you need to sit at home and take care of the family and do whatever you want to do. If I'm a woman, I'm taking that deal. Because I think the point that's not talking about as we come to a close, that's not talked about, is that when people talk about housewives that stay at home, stuff like that. That means not committed to a 9 to 5. That don't mean that you can't do nothing. You still do what you want to do. You can open a yoga studio or go to school, do whatever. It's just I don't want you committed to a 9 to 5 because I'm gonna tell you from my own experience. This has happened from my own experience, right? My wife has had a week so horrible at work. She came home and she tried best, whatever. She came home and it was first day she came home, the whole vibe was messed up. I'm like, she had a bad day, I'm leave it alone. Second day, same thing, third day. So it got to the fourth day and she had a 4-day work week. And she came home, everything was jacked up, right? And I told him, like, look, if that job is going to stress you out that much to where you got to bring this home and mess up this piece in this house or affect what I have going on over here, then you got to quit the job. And she's like, okay, and I hadn't had that problem since. Because if I'm making 90% of the money in the household, her 10% is not going to affect the household at all, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let your 10% affect the 90% just because those people at your job stressing you out. You can quit, and the household as a whole will still be better off than you coming home 3 hours late, being stressed out, affecting the household. You get what I'm saying? When the whole point of you working is to make money to pay bills. When you're not, I'm paying 90% of the income. Do you get what I'm saying?
I hear you, yeah.
I know you don't agree, but I'm take it away from
you ask me,
right.
Yeah, so you don't talk like you trying to get me to agree.
I'm not trying to get you to agree. I'm just trying to get you to understand.
Because when the house, she could have a hard week at home. If it was small kids or whatever, and they just not doing right, and you still have a messed up day. I mean, I don't understand.
No, this was a direct reflection of the job. It was understood.
Right, but I'm saying if you a homemaker and your kids are having a bad week, nothing is whatever the case may be, and it's still affecting that parent that's taking care of them.
I get it.
So it can happen on both ends.
Yeah.
You can't say, okay, well, you know what, quit them kids and just don't worry about it. Don't deal with it. No.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think it's less likely. I think it's less likely for you to have a horrible day when you have people that contradict everything you got going on, that making you have a hard day for whatever crazy stuff they got going at a place that you don't have to be, versus you being with your family when you're trying to put into them to raise them and teach them and get them to understand. I think though that's two different things.
But it's not though.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not.
Okay.
It's not, because as a single parent, and I had to work, but it was some of them days where, like when I was a teacher and I was at home during the summer with my kids, and they didn't go to daycare. I stayed and kept them. So them days, you have days where I don't have any more to give. My son and my daughter they in they mood, so they in whatever they in. And, I'm tired, mentally drained. I've been dealing with, say, potty training for the last 6 months, and the child just not getting it. Mm-hmm. And, you stressed out. It's the same. It's easy to say, quit that job, and because you can be a homemaker. But a homemaker is sometimes more stressful than work.
Absolutely disagree. Absolutely disagree.
Have you ever been a homemaker?
Well, I'm gonna tell you. No,
hold on. Have you ever been a homemaker? Have you ever raised kids?
I've never
by
been a
yourself.
Homemaker,
well, you can't say you disagree.
I can say I disagree. Let me explain to you why. I can tell you disagree, right? Because the reason I say I can disagree, and the reason that I feel different, you still had to deal with the pressures of paying bills and working, even though you had the summer off or you had to deal with your kids. You still had to deal with the pressure of paying bills. Now, just think about it. If you had no financial pressure at all, you did not have to work. That's 50% of the relief off your shoulders.
But that's for financial. But
financial.
Hold on. I'm not talking about just financial, because as a homemaker, you can be stressed out. Your kids, and your husband can stress you out.
I agree.
Homemaker and raising kids is one of the hardest jobs that you can ever have.
Okay, I agree. It's a hard job.
But you're just talking about the finance part of it.
I think the finance part is a huge part, because you need money to survive. You got to have money to survive. What I'm saying is, I believe that if you are a woman, right, or anybody, and you had the home life certain part, and you didn't have to worry about both sides of the aisle. You just don't have to worry about one side. I think the perception would be totally different if you did not have to worry about money. And the reason I'm talking about finances is because
you can say that. You can say that because it's an ideal, it's an experiment, it's a hypothesis, it's a thesis.
Have you ever done it without I have to worry about money?
I have.
You didn't have to worry about money at all. For how long?
I don't know how long. I mean, I stayed with my parents for as young.
But you still work though. Well, that's different when you're young.
No,
what do you mean young? Like what's somebody?
I mean, I was a teen parent, but I say I was in college and I had a kid.
Did you work?
No, I didn't work. At some point, I didn't work.
Yeah, but you were in college dealing with a kid. I'm talking about if you had nothing else.
But what I'm saying is, Corey, for you to say that you think that because you have not been in that position in any aspect of it, you have not. So ideally, it wouldn't be that this or it wouldn't be this if you didn't have financial yada yada. You can say that as an opinion because that's what you feel like. But somebody who, and you can do the research on it, somebody who is financially clear, their husband is working or their wife is working or whatever, and they don't have to do nothing but raise kids. You ask them the stress of the homemaker and all that, and some of them will probably say, "I'd rather be at work."
I got it. But you don't think it would be more stressful if they had to worry about money too?
It would be more stressful, sure. But it's stressful.
I get it's stressful.
Staying at home. But I'm saying, most men run out, you can be a homemaker and don't have to worry about that. But it's still stressful.
I agree.
It's not like easy peasy and everybody, you waking up and everybody's attitude is on flowers and rainbows.
I agree it's stressful, but at least at some point, there is a cutoff, right? Just say, for instance,
it's a cutoff.
Let me finish, right? So, right now, your kids are grown. Just say 10 years ago, if you got with a guy that said, "Hey, you're gonna be a family woman, you want to be a family woman," right? At this point, right now, if you was with a guy that was paying all the bills and take care of everything, your kid's grown, how easy would your life be right now? How easy would it be? Well, because the kid's grown, you did your part. Because the kids are gonna grow up and they're gonna leave, and he's gonna still be out there working, and now you're at home doing this.
Yeah, but in my personality,
I'm speaking in general.
Okay, well, I can't speak in general on that, but in my personality, like, I don't have a problem with working.
Yeah,
and I joke around like, I need me somebody that's gonna retire me. But for the most part, not doing anything will probably drive me absolutely insane.
I agree, and that goes back to the point I was trying to make earlier. It does not mean you don't do anything. It means you have the option, the choice to do whatever you want to do. If you have a husband supporting you that say you can do whatever you want to do, I just don't want you stressed out on the job. I don't. This is my own personal belief, right? I don't believe that if you're in a relationship with a woman and you could deal with it, that she should be stressed out by everyday crap. I just don't believe that, right? I believe that men are meant to take on all the stress with everyday crap, right? I think that even when you talk about we talked about this before too, from a danger standpoint, right? Most women, especially when they're in a relationship, they're oblivious to danger because they're not thinking about it because I got a man that he's taking care of the danger part. I'm good. I ain't got to worry about it, right? I told you so about my wife in the light bulb. She thought the light bulb had been there forever. And I'm like, no, I just always change when they go out. You just don't pay attention because it's not your thing. You don't have to worry about that, right? And I think a man should be relieving a woman for their stress. They should be living a certain lifestyle if they can provide it. What? Even if you let's go to the flip side of that. And you saying that, hey, a lot of men think being a homemaker is not stressful. I think a lot of people, I'm not going to say a lot of people, I think people take for granted the everyday trials and tribulations that a man has to deal with when you walk outside the door. I think it's absolutely taken for granted. I think that a lot of people just do not understand that the world absolutely do not care about men. They don't care.
Yeah, black men especially.
Well, I ain't even talking about the color. We ain't got to take it to D. I'm just saying man, right? Look at our thing. Women and children first. If it's a fire, we're going to help the women and children. If it's a shooting, get the women out. Like, men, y'all, fuck y'all. Y'all can die. We need to take care of the women. Woman, you walk on this side of the curb. I walk on the side where if a car jump, I'm going to hit you not. And I understand all that comes with it, right? But the world itself don't care about men. Homeless, it's overwhelmingly more homeless men than there are women because women's shelters. You know, they have women's shelters. They don't have a lot of men's shelters.
They
But
have women's shelters because men be beating them.
here we go. See, we ain't gonna take it there. We ain't gonna take it there now. Even though lesbian relationships, they report more domestic violence than any other relationship. Women. It's women, men, and then men. Which there are almost no reports of men in domestic violence. It's way more women. But it's okay. That's another conversation for another day.
Of course, you know, all facts.
No, not all facts.
I said you know all facts that is going to say a woman is in the wrong. You know all the facts. No, I couldn't even give you a fact about, you know, and I was just really just talking. This
ain't even talking about women. See, here, this is the difference.
Oh gosh.
Whatever. This is different. I am a man living in this world, and I have men that I'm trying to raise to make sure they don't get caught up, right? And it's easy I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's on par for you to sit back and say, you know that saying that people with privilege don't even realize they have it. They just don't realize they have it. It's easy for a woman to not even realize all the privilege that women get on a regular basis, when the men are the ones. A lot of the men have to, because you get certain privileges, men gonna suffer on their privilege. Now, I ain't trying to take it too deep or nothing like that. I'm just keep it straight across the board, right? A man, I have kids, sons. We live in a world where you can have consensual sex with somebody, and then the next day they can get up and say, "No, I didn't mean it consensual. You are me or SA'd me." And this person can be dragged through the mud and proven innocent and lose whatever just because of somebody felt.
What's SA? Sexual assault?
Yeah. You ain't supposed to say it.
You can't say assault?
You ain't supposed to say SA or R or
yeah.
You know, delete yourself. You ain't supposed to, YouTube have all these things. Right. We ain't big enough for them to notice us, but they got all these things where they'll kick you off platform for saying stuff like that. They call it hate speech.
To say that you was assaulted.
To use the word, right? They had a box looking for certain words. So if you say certain words, that's considered hate speech. So you got to say stuff like grape instead of... Yeah. But yeah, so I have to just try to come with facts, data, statistics, something to see, so these boys can see. Like every time I it's a story come across of some college boys that did everything right and still was drugged through the mud. I have to let them see that, because that could be them. Like I think the last one was them two guys from, well, it ain't the last one, but the big one was two guys from Ohio State. They recorded the girl saying that she wanted to do it and everything like that, and they still got expelled from school, still kicked off the football team, lost the NFL because they were 5 stars, so they projected to go to the pro. They lost their ability to go to pro, and it took them 3 years just to get found not guilty.
Right.
But the damage is done.
Right. But you do know that it's a lot of young boys, men that go out and feel like that they can take what they want.
Absolutely.
In that way.
Yep.
And a lot of it's not even reported. A lot of people that lie, true enough, the women, they lie on the guys because they seeking out revenge or whatever. But I feel like that number is smaller to what is actually happening, and it's not reported. So you don't know the data of that because it's not reported.
See, but when I'm talking about my kids, I'm not talking about the data. I'm just letting them know the traps.
Yeah, it can happen. Definitely.
And I'm even telling them, hey, they've been raised not to hit no women, hold up for women, a whole bunch of bullshit that I wish I can go back and change. Because these women these days get you fucking killed.
Watch out.
I'm sorry. These women these days will get you killed because they don't have there's no, I'm not going to say respect. That's not harsh enough. They just don't care about men, right? Whenever you have a girl, whenever you have a woman that know if that I'm acting crazy with this man, I'm boosting him on. If I call my brother, I know he's coming over here,
right,
and I know something gonna happen, and I know he can end up dying, and then they do it anyway,
right,
and then their brother end up dying, and then they were like, "Well, I ain't had nothing to do with it. I just told you knew that your brother, your brother gonna come over there.
Absolutely.
You know he was gonna come over there. I've seen parents do it. I told you about the lady when I worked in Alabama, call her son. She knew her son won't come there. Now, what if I wasn't them guys like, man, I'm afraid for my life. He walking back here up on me. Let me stab him and shoot him. Now you just got your son killed over nothing.
Right.
And I think women have that power over men because men trying to protect them, and you just have to be extremely careful. I've told all my sisters them, like, I'm with you. 10 toes down. But I need to know what's going on. Like, unless we're in the middle of something, I got to know what's going on. Because I know how my sisters are. I know how the women in my family are. I know that they slick at the mouth and they'll talk crazy. Which the older they get, the less it happens. Especially with my older.
I understand. My brother is crazy, and so situations I may have encountered, I wouldn't dare tell him.
I wouldn't even say crazy. Just
when I say
sister,
crazy,
right?
When I say crazy, not mean
about that. I'm coming. You my sister. I'm coming to defend you.
Right, because you're my sister. Yeah. So I wouldn't dare, because I know once I say keywords or once something that I explain to him happened, that's it. Ain't gonna be no understanding.
Absolutely.
Ain't gonna be no.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna talk to him. No. Yeah. So I know that, so I won't even put my brother in a situation. My daddy was the same way. Certain things I couldn't disclose to him that may or may not have happened, and thinking that he's gonna be the righteous person and let's go to court or let's do this whatever. No, my daddy go into his gun closet.
Absolutely. Me and my cousin, I'm gonna say his name, but my cousin, my stepdad, which I actually missed the guy. He used to jump at my mom all the time. I saw it from a one lens perspective, right? And this one time he get into my mom and he hit my sister. We jumped on the guy so bad, thought he was gonna die, thought we were going to prison. But as I got older, I started looking at things. I started understanding. I'm like, they took that man through purity hell, right? All he would do was trying to be there, provide whatever. Talk about him, belittle him, steal, take, conniving, trifling, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, man, I'm not saying you should put your hand on a woman for sure, but I'm saying, like, I see the other side now, because I'm like, man, it's as a man, as a person, it's only so much you can take, especially when I ain't got nowhere else to go, I ain't got nothing else to do.
Right.
Like, if you gon',
You're right.
And then I seen it, which I still think is crazy. I seen them put hands on him first, and then when he haul off and rap you and your face swell up, it's like you done hit him 17 times. Right. He hit you once. Just because you should know your 17 licks ain't gonna hurt. Right. But when he hit you in the face one time, you're gonna swell up.
Right. Yes. And I taught my son. My son had a situation where he was somewhere and the girl pulled up on him, and she wasn't quite understanding that they was broken up or whatever, and he picked her up and moved her out the way.
Should have did that.
And that's what I said. And he was like, "Mom, but she was at one of his friends' grandma's house." Yep. And so he felt like she was disrespecting the grandma, but he was asking her to move. Yep. She wouldn't move. So by my son, so he is stronger. Mm-hmm. He picked her up and he moved out the way. So I said, you could have just walked. You had your vehicle. You could have just left. Like, you had to put your hand. So once he did that, like, she scratched him and all this and all this.
It's over, though. Once he put his hand on, it's over.
Right. So he didn't understand. I mean, he 18, 19 at the time. So he didn't understand. He was like, well, I didn't hit her. I didn't slap her. I didn't hit her. I just picked her up and moved her from wherever she was or whatever. And I was like, the fact that you put your hands on her in that aspect for her was like, it was an aggressive.
Absolutely. Just like the whole Jonathan Majors things, right?
Right.
You've been paying attention to that, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
Crazy. He got proven guilty because he accidentally bruised her because he was trying to retain her or put her back in the car.
And she chased him for 18 blocks.
But that's all it takes. Look, I got a scar. Look, I got a bruise. That's all it takes.
And she went drinking and got drunk on his credit card.
And that's the kind of thing that I try to tell. Like that. And that's the kind of thing I try to tell my son. You're always gonna be an aggressor because you naturally you are, because you're a male, right? A 14-year-old boy will beat the mess out of a grown woman in any given day of the week. So we have to, as men, we got to take those licks. Unless you're about their life, you got to take those licks. You got to take whatever and go on about your way. Either completely cut off with the girl. And
that's what I'm saying. You have to, and that's why I told my son, okay, so now that you come home with scratches, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I told him you were wrong, which it took him a while to understand where I was coming from, but you were wrong putting your hands on him. You should have just walked to your truck, got in your truck because you was not at home. You should have came home. Now, once she come home and she come over here, then me as the adult, then it's a problem because you coming onto my property. And then it's a problem. We'll call the cops. You know what I mean? If that's what it takes, whatever. But you come home. You don't move or whatever. But I said, so now you don't need to be, ain't no understanding. Ain't no, well, she want to talk or she's sorry. No. Because that's who that person is. And so it's just a real recipe for disaster. If you go back to her and she be like, well, I was upset, and now next time it's gonna be something else. She gonna call the cops. It's gonna say, well, look, he pushed me down, or he pushed me. I fell. I broke my hip, or
and 17 people saw it at his grandma's friend's house. They saw him put his hands on me.
Right, but they saw her jump on his head, but they're not understanding that because as a guy, you're supposed to just take that. Which I didn't teach my kid that. I didn't teach my son to just take that mess. No. If it's between you or her, you need to choose you because you need to come home.
I think I've changed, and I think that's a lot of stuff in the community, especially with all these, with a lot of, how should I say this? No offense to you, right? And a lot of these communities I've seen growing up, especially in a lot of these single mother homes, they teach, and I was taught the same thing. Men ain't shit. Men ain't never gonna be shit. Your mom is the end all be all of the world, right? I've been in a situation where I've seen people mom do some of the egregious things,
right? And
their answer to it was, "But I'm your mama."
Right.
Like this is
right.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I get it.
But I'm your mama, and I think that just has to change. And I think the way that changes, more men in the household, of course, because it's been some things that happened in my household that I said, nope, it ain't happening like that. Because I'm here, I'm the dad, and nope, we ain't doing that. This is how we're going to do it.
Right.
Because sometimes you just have to say, no, because I know exactly where it's going. If we keep doing this way, no. I never forget my kids, the grandmother used to play with them, and the kids used to call her name Duty Head and
right.
Skunk and stuff like that. And I would say, no, don't call it, oh, they just playing. Like, no, they can't do it. They ain't doing it in front of me. So, get out in public in front of the white folks. Kids called her name, embarrassed, had her crying. this true story.
Called
her something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they were doing it in a way like we normally play. Oh, shut up, do the head like they normally play. Mm-mm. But it's too late now. They embarrass you, and she come back crying. It's like, I told you,
right?
I told y'all. And this when I was a little younger, I didn't have my foot down like that. Mm. But it's like, you nipped that shit in the bud. Like, nah, we ain't doing this. You can't even play like that because they don't understand yet. This is when I play. This is when not to play.
Right.
And then it's hard to tell a kid.
Well, then you shouldn't even play like that anyway. Call somebody, basically calling them a shithead.
Yeah. Yeah, but she thought it was cute and funny because they were little boys. Oh, my grandbaby called me, do the head. You little munchkin. Oh, forget you, munchkin. So.
Well, yeah, words like that, but like if it comes to stuff like, I don't know. Sorry, I mean, but again, you like you said, is somebody as an adult had to be like, nah, we're not gonna do that. You know what I mean? And even if it's not the male parent, if it's a male cousin or the uncle, or granddaddy, or or whatever the case may be, I feel like as a single parent, I had to allow myself to say, okay, well, if I felt like my brother or my dad was being too harsh on my kids, I had to step back because they daddy was not a part of their lives. And so sometimes kids need that male aggressive no, and that's it.
No, sometimes
I'm just saying, and so as a mother, you have to step back and say, even though your feelings hurt because your kids feeling hurt, but you have to look at the bigger picture of it and say, okay, that kid need to be able to listen to this man and say, and the man to tell him why. Like my dad used to come get my son, if it be me, my daughter, my mom, and they're talking. Come on out there with them women talking.
Absolutely.
They ain't talking about nothing. And we don't be talking about nothing, but he's like, come watch TV with me. Yep. Or come play with your toys in here with me. Just the fact that and so now I laugh, or we laugh, because now my son don't listen to the word that we saying. Yeah. Like me, my daughter, my mom, and they're talking. Cameron is oblivious to whatever we saying.
Absolutely, because it's a bunch of girl, yeah,
And so even if it's not,
yeah,
I have to say, Cameron, you hear, oh, what? Yeah. Because he has been so conditioned to whereas if it's a bunch of women talking, he not paying attention.
Yeah, he should be, because most of the time it's a bunch of emotional, irrational stuff that you're listening to. How I feel, how they feel, and it ain't constructive most of the time. It's just a bunch of gibberish.
It's not gibberish. It's what women talk to. But I'm just saying, it took my daddy to be like, come on out of there with them. Because as a kid, he just want to be around. We're more lively. We're talking and we're playing and we're dancing, or whatever case may be. And he I want to do that too. But come on out of there. Come on in here with me. And it wasn't, at first I'm like, Daddy, golly, he just a baby.
I think that's good. We need to broach that on the next episode. The male, how important it is to have male presence
Right.
Especially fathers in the household. I think that's so important.
I agree.
I think I would have turned out totally different if my dad was in my life, and because some of the lessons that I learned, I feel like I probably would have learned them earlier, and therefore I would have started sooner. So I probably would be further along than I am now.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right. And I don't just think that it has to be a male father. What if the father is dead? You know what I mean? Like he died, whatever. So I feel like women have to allow other men, and that are. I had cousins on both sides that took to my son and was like, one of my cousins, he was a real good basketball player, and when Cameron had interest in basketball, when he would come to town, he would take him to the basketball, whatever that is in North Jackson. Or he will, say, here goes take him to a park and then dribble the basketball. My son played basketball in high school. He made it. He ain't been playing basketball for maybe like a year. One of them other kids, they've been playing since they was like 5. But he made the varsity team. It's because I allowed my cousin to say, when like, oh no, you can't take my son away, you can't discipline him, or you can't do it. No, if you that's when you want to show him and you feel like you can or whatever, absolutely take.
See, that's what I think. You are a little different. I always say you act more like a man than you do a woman from the perspective. You do, right?
I heard somebody else say that about me.
Your views on certain things are more on the man side than there's woman side, because men, we think more strategic and logical about things. It's a process. We put processes in place. How do I get this done? Where I am, what I got to go through to get to where I'm trying to go. And women mostly how I feel. Oh, this don't make me feel good. I don't feel good about this. And a man, like, I don't care about how I feel if it's right or wrong. Right. So I think from that aspect that you're different from a lot of women, because I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many women I've seen say, you ain't his daddy. You ain't his daddy. That ain't your child. You ain't this and that. And I'm looking like, but he telling them right. He telling them right. But see, they don't.
Because my parents raised me to have. I have sense, but having sense is relative.
Very. That's actually a compliment. That's one of the things, the many things I can compliment you on, is that you can step back and say, what's best for him.
Right.
Not how I feel, but what's best for him. And a lot of women, especially single women that's independent, whatever, they ain't studying about what's best for the child. They only worry about how they feel.
I mean, and you as a parent, you're not gonna always feel good about something, but you have to know that you have to raise your children to be well productive citizens. And they're not gonna be a good citizen if they are babyfied by their mama and they can't do this and they can't do that, or can nobody correct them. I hate to be corrected. That's why I'm always right. But I can't take the criticism. It makes me mad, but I can take it, and I may be to the extreme to where.
I might disagree with you. You can't take no criticism. You ain't taking no criticism. Your criticism come back with some. You got to come back. It's like, I'm just telling you talk too much. But why I talk too much? Why you just ain't talking enough? Like, man, come on, man.
But I'm saying I'm not fighting mad to where I'm not gonna ever talk to you again because you told me I talk too much.
You might not talk a couple days when I'm talk to you again.
Screw you.
I get example. And we got to close this out. The lady that was on the Instagram, because I tried to do a lot of research to get topics and stuff we could talk about, points. She was talking about how it was hurting her heart that she had the little 5-year-old ballerina girls, and they want to listen to Sexy Red, and they want to twerk and all that.
Oh, yeah, I seen that.
And then she was talking about the parents, but the people were, all these women, just women, well, majority of women, in her comments roasting her. Don't worry about the kids. You should be glad they're all this stuff. And that's where men sit back and like, man.
She was a teacher, right?
Yeah, she was a ballerina teaching. She was teaching these girls, and she was just telling them, hey, look, guys, this is ridiculous. I got 5 and 6-year-old girls asking to listen to Sexy Red. Yeah. How the F they know about Sexy Red?
Right.
They asking me to listen to Pound Town. 5-year-old kids, Pound Town, right?
It's
absolutely
explanatory.
Absolutely. And the mom's like, don't worry about it. You should be glad they be there. They can do, they kids, whatever. So all the different things, and she's trying to tell you now. We're talking about ballerina dancing, so you gotta at least assume that this is probably middle class or higher, right? Because poor people not sending their kids to ballerina dance. So it's not just the poor people. We're talking ignorance goes all the way up the ladder. So this is say middle class are hired because they got to pay her for this class she's teaching the kids, right? And these kids are asking to listen to Pound Towns. Like I don't. You don't ever hear about dads letting their daughters listen to Pound Town. Like, you don't hear about it. Not saying it ain't happening because I'm sure there are exceptions to the rule, but I'm like, that's the kind of shit. Like, even when I see my sister them and nieces in the car and they listen to music, I'm like, man, turn that off. They shouldn't be listening to it. Like, why you got them? They're in the back seat where the speakers at, and all you hear INDP and all this, like, what? And they back there bobbing head. Why you got these kids?
No, I changed to classical music. Like
classical or gospel. That's why I listen to my song.
I mean, I do the classical because it's just.
Or I put my earphones in when he on his game, when the kids on their game. I put my earphones in
and you listen to it.
Yeah, and I listen to them whatever I want to listen to because typically I listen to a podcast, and then I can always hear them too what they going on back there. But yeah, I think that's crazy.
But it plays a part. It shapes your kids. Mm-hmm. My daughter. When I was an early teen mom, so my daughter, she knows some rap, but she knows all your Donny Hathaways, all your Aretha's, your Michael Jacksons. And my dad was like, you are blasting it. And I'm like, well, I mean, she listens to the mess on the radio. I'm listening to CDs or whatever, or I'm listening to classical. My son likes rock, which I do listen to some rock, but like I made it a point not to do the rap because I felt like y'all can't relate to that. Even though I was a single parent, my kids were still middle class kids. Via my parents.
Yeah.
So you don't know what it is to live in the trenches of, what they saying or selling crack or running hoes or whatever you doing. You don't know that because that ain't the lifestyle you live.
Yeah, like Michael Irvin was talking about his son rapping. He wrote National TV. I don't think he didn't say it to blast his son. He said to make a point. He was just like, yeah, my son is a rapper, and he's rapping about in the trenches or whatever. He's like, what you talking about? You've been in gated communities all your life. Your dad is an NFL Pro Hall of Famer. You ain't never seen that.
No,
where did that come from?
Rap about
and then you could tell he really didn't mean it because he went over it so fast. It just in conversation. Because I would be the same thing. I'm like, man, you don't know nothing about none of this stuff.
Right. Because what's the point of me working my tail off to get you a better life than I lived, or if I come from a poor beginnings and I'm working my tail off and, I made some type of sacrifice and my income is good. Yeah. And you talk about, you ain't got running water. And
food steps.
Right. Wait a minute, what?
Week.
Like, no, it was strategically for me to take you out there so you wouldn't know that. But then you going back to it, that's what you want to do. Like, no.
Right.
But that's what sells.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? We sound like two old people sitting on the couch. We got to change the podcast. Two old people on the couch.
Some people, you have to be, I know somebody that used to, he was older. Mm-hmm. And he hated to be called old. And I'm like, but you got to take it as a blessing. Because some people, they're not old. They changed the gray. They died and, dressed, younger. Listen, I say dress younger, but it's like listen to rap music and, talking about running hoes. But you married and you retired. So what hoes you running or, you know what I mean? Like, no, be okay with where you are. If you 60, be okay with that. Because some people didn't live to be 60. They died at 30. So, I embrace. A lot of people say, I don't want to get old or being old. It's not what they want.
I think a lot of people mistake old with lifestyle. I think when they say I don't want to get old, they talking about the bent over, can't do nothing in the house, can't take care of yourself, nobody, no friends, family. I think that's they talking about.
Yeah, but you can be 27 like that.
Absolutely, but I'm saying that's what I think. I think majority of people now when they thinking a lot of things, they confuse a lot of things with lifestyle, and I think a lot of that has to do with social media.
Yeah,
they think if you ask a person right now that ask them if they're average, they're gonna look at you like something wrong. Like I ain't average. When hold up, you do understand it's reason it's average. Majority of people are average, right? If there were more people that wasn't average, that was above average, then guess what? That would be considered average now.
Right.
Like, it just blows my mind when you sit and you talk to people like, nah, I ain't average. Like, how you not average? How you not average? Me, I feel like I'm a fairly decent guy, fairly attractive guy, made some money, had some good careers, working on some other things. And I would still say that I'm average. I still would say I'm average, right? Yeah. Now, if you're talking about just looks or something like that, I mean, I still would say I'm maybe slightly above average because I have. No, I'm not being funny. I have some attributes that women like.
You over 6 feet?
I'm over 6'2".
Oh,
That put me in a whole other ball game.
You over 6'2"?
I'm 6'3".
No, you not.
Absolutely am 6'3". The Tavian 6'5". The Corey 6'4".
Really?
Yep. I'm saying their names. I'm gonna have to beep.
Right. You're back. Yeah. Why you can't say their name?
Whatever. But yeah, I'm 6. I am 6'3". A whole 6'3". A whole 6'3", looking at me like this.
Probably a half 6'3".
They looking up at me like
you
this.
You a half 6'3". You ain't a whole.
Anyway, we're gonna close this thing out, man. It's been a good conversation, but we definitely gonna have to talk about black men being in the house. Not necessarily black men being in the household, which I think that's a huge topic to talk about. We can really talk about that. And then we have both perspectives, right? You got your perspective of not having a man in the household, and mine actually not being a man with not having a man in the household. But but my game was totally flipped on my head when I got about 25. When I learned the truth about what really was going on. Right. Like that's a whole nother ball game.
Oh yeah, I think just touch on the subject for a second. I think men are, or any man, even if it's the uncle, because I feel like it takes a village. It should take a village to help raise your kids. But a man in the household for a woman, for a little girl or a little boy is very vital. Yeah.
And to add to that, why are there so many women that's so strung out about being independent? You understand independent means by yourself.
Yeah, because I don't want to be independent.
Thank you. See, you get it. You get it.
I don't want to be independent. I want to be able to say, hey, can you change my light bulb?
Absolutely.
And I sit and do nothing.
Absolutely. See, now you're getting to see that. Feminism should go out the window when you got to change the light bulb.
And I know how to change my oil.
Pump gas.
I hate pumping gas.
Absolutely. Feminism go out the window when you got to pump the gas.
I know how to change your tire. I know how to motor yard, which motor yard. I do like motor yard. But weed eating, I hate it. So
you have a ride lawnmower? Mm-hmm. Well, that's why you like doing it, because you sitting down. It's easy.
I wouldn't have a problem with mowing the yard either, because when I was a kid, I don't know, maybe it was because when my brother was when we was kids, like it was his responsibility to do the yard, and me being a baby and a girl, I felt like I could do it.
I can't do it. Yeah. Oh God.
So when he got in college and he moved out, like I mowed the yard, and so it's just something. And even though I'm highly allergic to grass, I'd be out there with a mask on or whatever. I just and we had a push lawnmower then because our yards weren't that big, but I got joy out of that, like gardening and stuff. My mom is a gardener, but mowing the yard for me. But it's just mowing the yard. It ain't nothing that come with it. It ain't sweeping up no trash, no
leaves, no grass. You just mow it and let the shit stay there.
I don't even like gardening like that, but it's just mowing the yard. That's just, I like to do that.
We're gonna definitely have to talk about that on the next podcast, man, because I think that's vital. So, but hey, great conversation, guys. Hey, make sure you guys put all your comments in the bottom. You do like, you don't like, what you want to hear us talk about. The goods, the bads, the ugly, whatever. Make sure you what is it? Like,
share, comment.
And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe. We gonna figure it out. We knew this, but we gonna get it together, guys. All right, y'all have a good one. Peace.
Bye.